cover buys. When I tell you cover buys, unpopular opinion, I do not think books should go past 3, 4 max, but trilogies are at sweet spot. If you don't focus, camera, on this beautiful cover, we gonna fight. Hi, welcome back to my channel, everybody. I am Chi, aka CHIOMA, and today I have a October spooky book haul. I have been to so many used bookstores in the past 2 weeks or so, as well as I just got a book shipment of books that I recently ordered. Actually, I ordered a long time ago, but just came now because, you know, Coro has all of our shipments out of whack. So I have a box as well as the books that I got as I was used bookstore hopping for the past 2 weeks. So let's get into it. I'm not sure if this is gonna be a spooky book haul or just an October book haul because, you know, I generally read towards the spooky anyway, you know. Give me the vampires, give me the werewolves, the ghouls, the horror, the ghosts, all of that. So hopefully this is like, you know, on brand with the times. But let's see what books I got. So hopefully you grabbed a cup of tea because this is gonna be a long one. I got mad books here, but let's start with, you know, the wild card. You know, let's just start with it, and that is the first volume of Inuyasha. This is weird because this is a manga, obviously, but it's actually written from right to left or left to okay, it's written the way like American books read. So that was interesting, but I bought this for nostalgia reason. If you watched Inuyasha as a kid, you know that the series sequel is coming out soon, or is already out by the time I make this video, and I just really wanted to just kind of relive that before I hop into the new series. So Inuyasha Volume 1. Next book is Love Reborn by J.R. Ward. I recently got back into the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, which is one of my favorite paranormal romance series out there. It's one of the best. I love J.R. Ward, and this is Pain's book. This is actually Torment's book, so I have one book to read before this, but these are great adult romance, paranormal romance. These are really great books. J.R. Ward has such an addictive writing style, so I definitely recommend her. So I almost have like all the first 10 books, and even though I'm not a fan of just like, you know, random models on the covers, I love how like the overlay is colorful, so like they look really pretty on my bookshelves. Yeah. The next book is also an adult romance. It is Vampires Are Forever by Lindsay Sands. Lindsay Sands is another one of those paranormal romance writers I used to read back in the day that has like 40 books in her Vampires Are Forever series, in her vampire series. I think they're called the Arganu series, and this is, I have no idea what book this is, but I really want to start collecting these again because I really enjoyed them. So I started off with this one when I found it at the used bookstore. The next book is Speak by Lori Halls Anderson, and this is a throwback. I'm pretty sure I read this, or I knew of it when I was really young, but I don't know if I read it. But I know it's a contemporary book, and it's about a girl who goes through some type of tragedy in her life, returns to school, and is outcasted, as well as has someone who is still trying to harm her in similar ways that she was harmed previously. And it's really critically acclaimed, and it's an amazing book, and this is actually the graphic novel for it. I know the original format is just a regular YA novel, but this is actually a graphic novel, so I thought that was really cool. So I really want to get back into this story, get back into Lori Halls Anderson, and through a graphic novel seemed like the best way. Next book is Hooked by Liz Fichera, and this is actually a YA novel, and it's written similar to She's the Man. What is the Shakespearean play that is based on all of these? Twelfth Night, kind of similar to Twelfth Night, something of that sort, where a girl infiltrates like a male dominated space. I'm pretty sure it's the sports team, maybe the varsity team, the golf team. A girl infiltrates that space, and by the cover and the name Hooked, I feel like there's some romance that comes from that. So I got this like news bookstore. It seemed like a cool like YA romance to pick up, so I got this one as well. Going along with my YA romance trend, this is Pushing the Limits by Katie McGarry. This just has like, you know, a real saucy, typical contemporary, very angsty YA romance novel. I like that the cover just seemed very I don't know what really got me to pick up this book, but it looks really angsty. Seems really good. It's the Gina Showalter did blurb it, and if Gina Showalter is blurbing something, she's one of my authors that if she blurbs something on the back of a book, I'm most likely getting this book. She blurbed it and said, an edgy romance that pulls you in and never lets go. I was hooked. So this sounds really cool, you know. Sounds like more than just the regular YA contemporary romance. It is one of the tropes where the girl who is the most popular has the best boyfriend, cheerleader, all that is kind of like knocked down pegs due to some tragedy that happens to her. So the popular girl becomes the outcast. She joins forces, so she finds some type of camaraderie camaraderie. The next book is The Wind-Up Girl by Paolo Bacigalupi. This book sounds amazing. It is categorized as a dystopian thriller, and I read a lot of dystopian. Like, your girl loves dystopian, but this is categorized as a dystopian thriller. So I always think a book needs a little extra oomph, a little extra something to be categorized as a thriller, and to be a dystopian thriller, it's a wrap. I had to get this book, and it sounds really cool. The main character is a male who's considered what they call a calorie representative. Very interesting title, but this is dystopian. And basically what he does is he finds foods that are long thought to be extinct. So they're long thought to like no longer exist, but his job is to find them. He meets a girl who's part of the New People, and basically this is a group of people who are engineered, who are genetically engineered to be slaves, to be work for the bourgeoisie, to kind of work for the upper class and be whatever they want. If they want servants, if they just want playthings, if they want nurses, if they want anything. And she's kind of like ditched that life, and now she's just living in the slums. But it turns out that she's not just a member of the New People. She's actually who they call the Wind-Up Girl. And as political tension ensues, as biomedical warfare also ensues, there's a lot of genetically created plagues in this book. A lot of things are kind of happening, and the food supply is lowering. The Wind-Up Girl and this man are kind of at the center of the political turmoil and the kind of like changing shifts in how the world is run in this post-apocalyptic book. I love it. It sounds sci-fi, dystopian-y, thrilly. Sounds like an amazing book. I think it's crazy that I've never heard of this book, but it also takes place in the dystopian future in Bangkok, Thailand, which is one of my favorite places I've ever been to. So this sounds really, really cool. So I'm really excited for this. So now, let's see what's in the box. Okay, now let's see. The first book is Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian. Don't remember this book. I probably bought it just for the cover. I'm not sure if it's YA. Yeah, I love this cover. This cover is so beautiful. Let me try to get this box out the way. I love this cover. This cover is so beautiful. In a land without a queen, the princess must rise. Interesting. So this is a YA fantasy. So this is basically about a princess who has been enslaved or jailed for a long period of her life, and then is eventually let out after doing an unspeakable deed, whatever that could be, and then she's trying to take back her kingdom. So it sounds really interesting. I love this cover. It's just so pretty. I love when there's no people on the cover. So this is great. Yeah. So next book is Beverly Jenkins. Beverly Jenkins is not the name of the book. The name of the book is Captured, but it's by Beverly Jenkins. So I was in a live stream on Bowties and Books channel, and the people in the comments were telling me that if you're looking for someone who does people of color in historical romances, then Beverly Jenkins is your person. So I was like, bet. Here we are, because this cover is everything. It looks like the steamy cliche romance books that, you know, people of color never got. So I'm very excited about this. I don't know what it's about. Dominique Levesque. So it's about a pirate and kind of like a damsel who was on one of the boats that the pirate captures, and that's about all I know about this one, but it looks cute, so I'm excited to read this. I'm looking in this box, and I just know all of these were cover buys because this is a beautiful cover, and this is Sea Witch by Sarah Henning. This cover is absolutely beautiful. The blurb on the cover says, before she took the mermaid's voice, she gave up her own heart. So I love, as you guys know, I love paranormal, I love supernatural, I love everything not in the norm, but I don't have many mermaid books, and I feel like not many people are writing a lot of sea monsters, sea paranormal, mermaid books. So that's pretty much the only reason I got this, and because of the cover, and it sounds really good. I don't know any of the authors blurb on the back, but it sounds really good. So this is about a girl who is ostracized in her town after her best friend drowns. So her best friend drowns, and she's kind of blamed for it, and she's ostracized in this town. So she's kind of living her life, and then someone shows up on shore in her town who looks just like her. Through her becoming kind of like acquainted with this girl, she starts to believe that her best friend, who is thought to have drowned, did not drown. So she kind of has to find out more she knows about this new character who happens to look identical to her, and she's kind of thrown into the world of the humans in the sea, the mermaids, that underworld. So that sounds really cool. This seems really cool, and the cover is so beautiful, so I'm excited for this one. Give the Dark My Love. This is Give the Dark My Love by Beth Rivas. This cover again is really pretty. You see, you know, I have a lot of opinions on covers. I don't really like when there's like people on covers, but I like when it's kind of like a silhouette. Like I could do this. Like this was enchanting to me. This was enticing. I enjoyed this cover. And yeah, this seemed a really cool New York Times best-selling author. Do I know any of the authors blurbed? Carrie Ryan did blurb in the back, and Carrie Ryan is one of my favorite authors. So the blurb on the front says, dark, dangerous, and utterly captivating, Beth Rivas has done herself. Sounds amazing. So this is one of these tropes about paranormal kids going to a paranormal school, and this one does have a little bit of romance because the blurb is kind of about her. This girl who wants to learn alchemy, wants to learn metal alchemy, meets this guy, and they become closer while this deathly plague is sweeping through their town, and they kind of like take it upon themselves, as you know, 17-year-olds do. I kind of miss that trope. I kind of miss the fantasy couple and kind of like, you know, the high school college setting type of thing. So I think that's why I picked this one up, and it looks really cool. It sounds really cool, and yeah. The next book takes the cake on covers. Can we talk about it? This is beautiful. This is The Lantern's Ember by Colleen Hawke, and this just looks like this is what I want this October. This is what I want to read this month. It looks spooky, it looks fall-y, it looks the epitome of October. And this book is about witches and warlocks and the otherworld and all the fantasy that's in otherworld. The main girl finds out that she's a natural born witch, and once she finds that out, she really wants to dive first into the otherworld, which is the world of kind of like the paranormal creatures and the world that is kind of adjacent to the human plane. There is this boy Jack who wants to keep her from doing that. He's just like, nah, and that's really his boo. So he's really just like, nah, you shouldn't do that. It's not a place for morals. And she's just like, I make my own decisions. So she does that, and then he kind of sets up on this quest to find her, while she sets up on this quest to kind of like understand the other world. And I kind of really like that. Like I love how it's just like this girl is kind of like, you know, I know what you say, I see your warning, but I'm not going to heed it. You know, it's like, you know, give and take, good and bad. But I like that she obviously thinks for herself, and she doesn't care about Jack's warning. You know, whether or not that gets her killed, you know, it's not my problem. But this book looks really cool, sounds really cool. It's about witches, it's about demons, it's about warlocks. There's a little bit of romance, which, you know, is always nice sprinkled in, and it sounds amazing. So this book just looks like it's going to be great. The next book is These Rebel Ways by Sarah Rash. That is a mouthful, but this book also very, very beautiful cover. And this book is told from the perspective of 3 different people. So there's 3 different main characters. So this one really goes into kind of like the politics of this fantasy world. So there is a crown prince, there is a raider, and there is the main girl who is kind of instrumental in overthrowing one of the repressive regimes. So they're kind of the 3 main characters, and I hope there is no love triangle in this. And if there is, I hope it's done nicely. But it's kind of more about a political fantasy thriller. There's magic, but it's really about the politics of engaging in these kingdoms, about kind of overthrowing oppressive leadership and kind of like the monarchies that are available in this fantasy. So I hope this book seems good. Apparently Sarah Reich is really great at world building, so hopefully this is an amazing book, because it looks like it is going to be just by the cover. This is so interesting. This book has a Target sticker on it. I definitely did not get this from Target. This just came in this box, but that's interesting. And also interesting how it says James Patterson Presents, but it's not by James Patterson. It's called Girls of Paper and Fire, and it looks beautiful. Again, I bought for covers. I want to emphasize how much covers mean to me, because this is so beautiful, and everything about it, even the back cover, it's beautiful. And the people who have blurbed this book are just kind of like really highly acclaimed by me. It's Kristen White, Ellen O, authors that I know and love. The cover is beautiful, and it just looks so good. I don't know why it says James Patterson Presents, because this is not by James Patterson, so I don't know what that means. But this is a New York Times bestseller, and I don't know much about this book, but it just spoke to me, and I think this is one of the ones I'm going to read first, because I just remember being the most excited about it. This one is called Before She Ignites by Jodi Meadows. Again, the cover, if you don't focus camera on this beautiful cover, we gonna fight. This cover is amazing. This girl is a beautiful black woman on the cover of a fantasy novel. I don't know anything about this. I really just saw the girl, her flower crown. I am a purveyor of flower crowns myself. I love them. So I bought it, and this is a trilogy, the Fallen Isles trilogy. Unpopular opinion, I do not think books should go past 3, 4 max, but trilogies are Sweet Spot. So this is a trilogy, and I like it because not only is there a black girl on the cover, because you know that's the number one, but it's also about a black girl who struggles with kind of OCD and anxiety. As someone who also struggles with GAD, I find that is amazing to be written in a character, not just a character, but a black female character. So I'm so excited for this book. And again, let me give you another close-up of this cover, yes, just so you won't forget. The next book is a cover by, and can we look at this gorgeous cover? It's called The Unspoken Name by A.K. Larkwood. So it's about a girl, a priestess or sorceress, who is kind of helped to escape her imprisonment. So she's in prison, she's in a predicament, she's helped to escape by a sorcerer, and she's very grateful until she finds out that now she is to become an assassin for said sorcerer. So that sounds really cool. This cover is so gorgeous. There are great blurbs on the back of this book. Emily Tesh, we have Dirk Ashton, Jen Lyons. Yeah, so great blurbs. Apparently this is amazing world building in this book. Pretty sure it is high fantasy. It's a high fantasy book. So I am so excited for this book because of the cover. And the next book is actually not a spooky book, not a fantasy book, and that is Slay by Brittany Morris. I've been doing myself a disservice by not having this book, not having read this book until now, so I had to pick it up. And this book is on every shelf of all of my favorite booktubers, so I just had to get it. I honestly don't know what it's about, because whenever people start to talk about it, I feel like I can't even hear like a blurb, see a synopsis, because then it's gonna ruin the magic for me, if that makes sense. So I have no idea what this book is about, but it looks beautiful, and I know it's just gonna give me all the black girl feel goods that I need. So this is the last book in my haul, and that is it. I have no idea how many books I hauled. I know I got 2 of the same book, so who knows what I'm gonna do with that. That is literally my brain when I am buying books. But I hope you enjoyed this haul. Let me know if you've read any of the books here, and let me know what you think about the books here, and I'll talk to you guys later.